Merry Christmas. We're back for a Christmas stream. This is going to be fun. Merry Christmas. I'm going to drink coffee, write some code, chat with you all. To my kiddos. Wake up. Free to just work or try clients. What's up, 199? Good morning, good morning. Duck, how are you doing? Good to see you. Ooh, new computer. Let's go. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. That's what's up, man. I love that. I'm actually kind of jealous about it. Santa did not bring me a new computer this year. Definitely a new monitor. Yeah, well, that's the problem with upgrading. Is once you upgrade one thing, you feel like everything needs to be upgraded, right? That's the slippery slope, right? Like you upgrade your monitors, well, you might as well get a new mouse. You get a new mouse, you need a keyboard. Well, if you got all new peripherals, might as well get a new computer. That's just it never ends. It never ever ends. Not sure if I go ultra wide in a small normal man panel or a standard double monitor. I have an ultra. And I love the Ultra. I do. I really wish actually, I think my preferred setup would be two stacked ultra wides. Um, but if I can't have two stacked ultra wides, then I prefer two monitors, personally. Unless your ultra wide has like software support for splitting two different, um, I mean, a lot of OSs now, I guess, have Windows support that kind of allows you to recreate the experience of two monitors. But yeah, I do. I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Either one of those is great. Yeah, the ultra wide. I love my ultra wide. Yeah, I love my ultra wide. So many ultra videos for vertical streaming sounds just about right. Yeah. Yeah, I would love two stacked ultra wides. I think that would be my ideal setup. Ultra wides though can be a little expensive, you know. Also, Oblivious, Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Hope you guys are doing well. I think I'm gonna. So today's stream is gonna be a little bit of a palate cleanser. I'm not gonna get into anything real involved just because I'm probably gonna end the stream rather abruptly at some point when my kiddos wake up. So I think today what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to build a Christmas tree generator. It's on theme, and I think we're gonna use Vue to do it. Or maybe we could use SvelteKit. I've never used SvelteKit before. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of have ourselves a chill, nice Christmas morning. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Merry Christmas. I honestly can't believe it's Christmas. That went so freaking fast. Like, so fast. Oh, I didn't create a Discord event. I forgot. I also need to check the member list. Members. We still have 14. Still have 14. Good deal. Let me create the Discord event really quick. Advent of Code was a lot of fun. I'm glad to be done with it though, you know. I know a lot of you were done with it like a while ago. Um, but yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that's over with. I'm glad it just reminded me of how much I enjoy like how much I enjoy building actual software, like working code, like working tools. You know what I mean? Like it's fun to solve a problem, but I think it's even more fun to actually have some working software. What's time is it? Let's do 4:30, 7:30. There we go. Okay, that's done. All right. Let's try to make the most of the time we got here this morning. Wait. I meant Mary. I'm getting influenced by all my illiterate friends. Well, I'm the guy in Slack who doesn't use proper punctuation or capitalization when they write messages, so I will happily join your merry band of illiterates. All right, let's see, Vite. I can never remember how to start a Vite project. Let's do. Hey, Etienne, how are you? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well, man. Good to see you. Hope your day's off to a good start. Let's see, this is going to be Christmas tree generator. Let's do view. Sure. Yes. My day's starting well. How about yours? Mine just started, so I've only been up for about 27 minutes. But yeah, so far, no complaints. I got my coffee. I made it downstairs. It looks like Santa came to my house because I saw the presents were set out on the hearth. So my kids should be up at some point. I imagine they'll probably wake up around 6, 5, or 6. So I probably have 30 minutes to an hour and a half at most before I have to go upstairs and do dad stuff. Jokes aside, V and Vue is coming to be one of my favorite stacks. Mine too. Mine too. For a long time I was a React guy. If you wanted to label me as something, I was a React dude. And then at work we had a lot of discussions about a year and a half ago at work about a front end framework, or basically taking our existing technology and our front end technology and swapping it for a actual proper front end framework. And we basically went down the rabbit hole of using React, Vue, Blazor, and like very basic jQuery web components type of situation, which kind of was closer to what we already have on our front end. Um, but in that work, I got exposed to Vue and kind of really fell in love with it from a front end. I mean, all the front end frameworks are great. Don't get me wrong. I just really have really come to enjoy working with Vue. I prefer the single file component, API, the composition API, to the older style. I think there's the composition API and there's the options API, and then you can write single file components or you cannot write single file components, and I prefer composition API with single file components personally. We don't need don't really need this guy. We don't really need this guy. We doing some Christmas coding? We are gonna do some Christmas coding, Bob Knoll. Well, we're gonna do some Christmas coding until the kiddos wake up. Once the kiddos wake up, I'm gonna I'm gonna hop. But we're gonna try to do a little bit of coding. My fun. We're also gonna make this kind of a palate cleanser stream where, you know, we were heads down for about 24 days there on Advent of Code. So this is a nice day. Just come up for a breath of fresh air before we dive back into more of a long-term project. Do something on theme, you know. So yeah, we're gonna try to have some fun with it. So basically my idea is I just want, at a very simplistic level, this is all I want to try to build. We can add features to it once we get the basics. Is I just want to be able to have a input box or maybe a slider that controls like levels of the tree. And so then you can move your slider around, and then I'm gonna have like a tree, like a pixelated Christmas tree. So we're just gonna use divs. We'll make like a layered tree like this, and then maybe we can figure out how to add ornaments to it or something, you know. But that's my thought. So that's what I'm gonna try to hack together. I'm sure our favorite LLM could throw this together in about 30 seconds, but I'm gonna do this like a caveman. Let's remove that, and we can remove all those styles. Do npm run dev, and it should just be a blank page. Nice, wonderful. Well, that's too bright. We need to dark mode that shit. Let's see, main. Oops. Styles.css. Let's go HTML body. We'll do height is 100%. We'll reset all the margins on everything. So we'll say margin. Yep, just like that. And then what else do we want to do? I guess we'll set the root font size is going to be 16 pixels. And then we can also set the body. What color is this? I don't want this to be here. I want to do this in Zen. Excuse me. Hey, what's up, MD? My eyes. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel when I open every light mode site. 100%. What's up, MD? Merry Christmas, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Okay, so I think the first thing we'll do is we'll just try to see if we can't figure out the structure. Before we make this dynamic, let's just see if we can't figure out the structure of the tree first. So we need a top level div, obviously. And so like this would be the trunk, I guess, is what we want to make this. So this would be, let's just say trunk. And let's make the trunk three columns. Yeah, let's say this might actually be a really good use case for grid, CSS grid. I don't use CSS grid much, but this might actually be like a really good use case for that. Although it may not be a good use case if it's going to be dynamic. Because I'm thinking like we could actually do like, we have a div here, a div here, a div here. But this doesn't really need to be dynamic. So this could actually almost be like its own div, honestly. So let's just do trunk. And it needs to have, let's see what Copilot comes up with. I don't think it needs a border radius. That seems dumb. Margin, I don't care about that quite yet. Let's see what the height and width Copilot came up with looks like. Oh boy, it's red. No, we don't want red, we want brown. Let's see, brown. Oh, that's so weird. For whatever reason, brown got translated to red. Or am I just... Are my eyes deceiving me? That's definitely red. That's definitely not brown. Let's see. Brown hexadecimal. Looks red to me. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What the what the hell is the Zen browser doing? I wonder if it looks like that in other browsers. I wonder if that's just a Zen browser thing. Let's see. Huh. Why would that happen like that? Is it because we're using background instead of the background color property? Or is this a known thing in browsers? Let's see, brown and browser shows red. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, here we go, Code Academy. Someone else had the exact same problem. Ah, man, the website made it so I couldn't see your name. Sorry, one sec, man. I'll pull up Stream Elements. Background is just a shorthand. That shouldn't be it. Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but that was kind of odd, wasn't it? Suwal. Let me replay this. Suwila Johnny. Suwila Johnny. Thank you for subbing. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Well, in any event, I'm just gonna copy this. Well, that looks way uglier. Okay, I just want like bark. Okay, maybe bark. How's the right way to describe this color? Bark color that I'm looking for? There we go. Wood bark. 261105. 261105. 261105. What does this look like on a white background? Seems kind of dark to me, but I think my dark background makes it kind of look worse than it really is. There we go. I can live with that. Maybe a little too orange, but I can live with that. Alright, so that's our trunk. Great. Now we need our tree. So let's make a div. Now, my idea with this is basically the bottom levels are going to be, let's just do classic. This is basically just going to be a grid. So do class equals row. Or what do we want to call it? Layer, maybe? Layer. And then this will be, no, I'm going to call it row. Row. I'm going to call this cell. So let's just start with a 3-level tree, and then we'll refactor this into a dynamic thing. So let's say we're going to use multiples, or we're going to use odd numbers. So we'll say our first level is, let's say 1, 3, and 5. So the first level just has a singular cell. The next level has 3, and the next level has 5. And what do we want? A cell needs, so a row, this row is super easy. Row is just display flex. And then a cell, we'll just turn the cells into squares, 100 pixels. We don't need a border. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Hey, looky there. It's uglier than sin, but it resembles a little bit of a tree. The green is too green, though. The green is way too green. So let's do... Dude, I think, you know, I always forget front-end development's so much fun because you get that visual feedback, right? Like you make a change and you see the change. It's so much fun that way. Whereas like when you're stuck just writing like back-end logic where you have to do like, you know, you have to print stuff to the console. I always forget. I think that's going to be one of my goals for 2026 is to spend more time building front ends, because the last 6 months of 2025 I basically spent no time on the front end. Hey, what's up, Noku? Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Background should be absolute pure red, like FF levels of red. Okay, you want to? Okay, we could do that. Let's see. Let's go back to our. I'm happy to take design suggestions too, if anybody has any. Let's do, what is it? You said FF levels of red? Yeah. We're basically making pixel art here, aren't we? That'll light you up right there. Let's see, we're going to go back here. And we need to get rid of the border radius because that looks dumb. So we need to put the tree, we want the tree to be centered under the cell. Good morning, you last. Thanks for being a member. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Noku, try Flutter. Also, Merry Christmas. Okay, we can try some Flutter at some point. Looks like that brown was selected for old, crappy CRT monitors. Modern screens are better at brownish colors. Oh, interesting. So that's a residual of years in the past. God, I'm surprised they even designed for CRT, because at the point the web hit the world, wasn't CRT kind of a dying technology? It's before my time, so I've never had a CRT monitor. Amba, what is the project? By the way, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Amba, as well. We are building a Christmas tree generator. So My idea is basically that we'll have a slider up here where you'll be able to like change the level of the tree, the size of the tree. That's my current idea at the moment. So that's, yeah, we're just doing something Christmas themed, something fun. Because I don't know how long exactly I'm going to be able to stream this morning. So I don't know how much I can get done. So we're just trying to have a good time. Sean, thanks for subbing. Big Jaw 82, appreciate you. Glad you're here. Looked up the color mismatch issue because I remember it also having to be to me before. Most likely the browser is applying a different sRGB color profile. Interesting. Yeah, that's super interesting. I never would have expected that. It kind of threw me off, honestly. All right. So let's get a different green in here. Hex code. Kind of like that one on the far left. What is that? What's that number? This one. Kind of like the darker color. Okay. Oh, and we need to center. I was like, what am I forgetting to do? I'm forgetting to center all this. So let's add a div. And let's do class equals tree. Copilot knows what we're doing here. Copilot definitely knows what we're doing here. Okay, so obviously our trunk is way too tall. So let's set that to maybe 200 pixels. That's still too tall. 100 pixels turns it into a square, which I don't know how I really feel about that. Oh, that's not bad. I think the blocks are too big, honestly. If I had to be honest, I think the blocks are too big. Very Minecraft Christmas. It is very Minecraft Christmas, isn't it? It's very pixel. I guess we could do there's probably a way we can do triangles, right? I mean, we could just apply like a red offset. I don't know. I kind of like the pixel look of it. I do want the squares to be smaller though. I think that's too large. And let's add a nice heading here. Merry Christmas. So let's do hey, good morning, Suhas. How are you? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well, dude. Happy holidays. I am doing well. Yes, I'm doing better than I deserve. How about that? I'm healthy. My kids are healthy. My wife's healthy. We're all together for Christmas. We didn't have to travel. I'm going to spend the morning drinking coffee. I'm going to watch my kids open some presents. Probably set up some new whiz-bang toys that they got or electronics that they got. Yeah, it's going to be a good day. Yusuf, did you use Linux? No, I don't use Linux. I usually develop on a Windows machine. I use Linux for hosting websites and web apps and stuff, but um, I don't really use it as like a desktop environment. And that's not really a comment on like not liking Windows. It's just or not liking Linux. It's just I've been on a Windows machine for 10 years now. Basically, the year after my son was born, or basically the next time I upgraded my computer, the year after my oldest son was born, I switched from Mac OS to Windows, really just because of cost. I love the Mac ecosystem. It's just their computers are so expensive for what you get in terms of like raw hardware and components that I just as I felt like as a dad I couldn't justify spending 1,000 or even 1,500 bucks and only getting 8 GB of RAM, right? So I made the switch a while ago. But I have promised chat that the next time I get a laptop, we are going to make it a Linux laptop. So at some point, this will happen. HL Tube, thanks for subbing, man. Appreciate it. Axel Kaneko Zanglet, thanks for subbing. Appreciate you. Norsik, hello Norsik, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. There we go. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to figure out how to build this dynamically. But remember, Apple's 8 GB perform as well as other 16 GB because trust me, bro. Well, and that's the thing is I know that now, like 9 years ago, my son's 9, yeah, so not 9 or 10 years ago, Apple was still on Intel Silicon at that point, right? They hadn't come out with their own silicon, so I know now today that comparison is kind of unfair to compare like Windows chip and memory to Mac chip and memory, right? So I do understand that now it's not really apples to apples, but back then when I made the decision, it was, and I just stuck with it since I made the switch. But eventually, I'm sure eventually um, I'll come back to Mac OS. I'll take a little side quest to Linux. You know, I got a long life. Hopefully, I have a long life. So that means I have plenty of time to explore all the things. Merry Christmas, Stefan. Thanks for being a member, man. Good to see you again. Hope you got a good day ahead of you. If you don't play games, the new Apple Silicon is extremely impressive. I'll have to give it a try at some point. Norsik, what's good, Steven? I've just been studying some networking, man. I'm actually thinking on what to make for my upcoming STEM exhibition. Nice! A STEM exhibition. I've never been part of one of those. Sounds like fun. Etienne caught that. Apples to apples. Yeah, you get. Yeah. I didn't know if anybody would catch that. I do actually love that their system memory is shared with the graphics. Apparently, it's real. I mean, everybody that I've talked to that has had one of those M series chips just raves about it. Just raves about it. So, if I could pick up one of those MacBooks, if I could pick up a MacBook or even like a Mac Mini for less than 700 bucks, 800 bucks, I would probably buy it like today. So if you see a good deal out there, but I don't just want 8 gigs of RAM. I want 16 gig. I want 512. I want at least I don't want the base model. You know, I want like one upgrade from the base model at least. Yusuf, I use Linux for 3 years. Arch, by the way. I see what you did there, Yusuf. Man, if you want to code on this, you will learn Bash with coding because it's very hard in use. You should customize it in your mind so it's hard. Um, Interesting. I mean, I've done some Bash scripting. You know, I don't use Bash every day. I use PowerShell more than anything because that's the shell I'm in. But I don't. There's this very weird thing right now that I experience a lot is that people, for some reason, people think that choosing Linux is like the default place to be now. And if you don't choose Linux, people are like, well, why do you choose something else? And it's my response is always, well, it's the same reason you choose Linux, I guess, because you like it. I don't know why, like, why I think it's very hard in 2025 to make an objective case that you can't do development on any of the three major OSs. Like there's successful software being built on all the platforms. It seems arbitrary to just say like, oh, you need to use one of the OSs. You need to use this OS. That's the OS you need to use. Norsec, let's do this Linux side quest. We are gonna do the Linux side quest, but we're not gonna do it on this computer. We're gonna do it on the new computer. Let's see, Austin. The meaning of "trust me, bro" means it does not work. No, I know that. I know that. That's why it's a funny joke. Trust me, bro. I don't understand why RAM is not upgradable on GPS because it's the same RAM chips that are available to purchase, right? Not upgrade. I don't know why. I don't know anything about GPS, like GPS hardware, so I don't know. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. It means they used a metric that is unlikely to change much from RAM quantity, basically. I think it's more about branding to get or banding together against a certain party due to belief. Yeah. So what you, oblivious, what you said is humans like to be tribal. Whatever humans are involved in, we turn it into tribal warfare. Bob, 16 gigabyte Mac Mini is $599 new. Only 1/4 terabyte dual though. That's really good. Is that? Wow, that's actually way more affordable than what I thought it was going to be. Mac Mini, 16 gigabyte. But you're saying they only have how much? They only have 256 gig. So but I bet I could upgrade it right to 512. But like, does that not piss anybody off? Why for $599 you only get a 256 SSD? That bothers me. And I bet if I want to make it 2 terabytes, I bet it like 3 times the price. It doubles it, more than doubles it. If you go up to a 2 terabyte SSD, it brings it up to $13.99. That's so frustrating. That's so frustrating. Again, I know it's difficult to compare the hardware, so I'm not gonna make some Windows comparison, but man, that is really frustrating. How much to like spec it all the way out? See, this is my problem is if you're gonna if you're gonna buy the base model, so be it, right? But if you're gonna upgrade to 2 terabytes of SSD and that brings it up to $13.99, well, fuck it. Let's just let's go all out, right? Like if you're gonna already spend $1,300 on a computer, might as well spend an extra $400 in my mind. Just F Apple? What are you talking about, man? I mean, okay, the company aside, right? Company aside, it's still a really cool ecosystem to be a part of. Yes, it's a walled garden, but man, they make a pretty sweet experience. Steven, it's not about can you develop or not. You can write text files on literally anything. It's about freedom and not spyware and no ads, no for profit. That's fair. That's totally fair. I mean, if you're have a very moral, if it's all based in morals, like that's totally fine. You're definitely entitled to your choice of OS based on that. Oblivious, basically. I'll be tribal against the enshittification of Windows. Yeah, we're all. Bob, it sucks. Their drives are super fast, though. Yeah, it just sucks that it's so expensive. I remember that, which is say 16 gigabytes RAM on Windows equals 4 gigabytes on RAM on Linux, and better than if I can say, "Watch out, Bill Gates, see you." Are you saying Bill Gates is tracking me right now? He's hanging out, seeing like, oh, what's Steven doing on his Windows computer today? Steven, Google ladder pricing model. I like Steve Jobs. Apple, don't like Tim Apple. Fair enough. Let's see, Google ladder pricing model. There's nothing wrong with the ladder pricing model. I mean, the whole point of a business is to extract money from you. That's a business exists for no other reason but to return profits to shareholders. And I'm okay with that. As long as a company is transparent about that, totally okay with red-blooded capitalism. Kind of a Stephen Gates situation. Dude, I bet Bill Gates doesn't give two shits about what I'm doing. Let's see, number of, or let's just do size of tree equals ref. That's not what I wanted. That doesn't look right. Oh, that's because I'm not in the script tag. That's funny. It's const size of tree equals ref. And then let's add like a little, let's add a div here. We can call this like controls. And then let's add that looked right. Although I don't think I need to do do I need to do vmodel.number? Let's just render out div that. Okay, how do I make a slider? HTML slider. Range, that's what I want. I want input type range. There we go. And now we just need to figure out how we translate that to changing the tree size. By the way, I follow you from Egypt. Nice. I've never been to Egypt. I would love to come to Egypt, though. I'd love to see the pyramids. How is Egypt treating you? Do you all celebrate? I mean, I guess I probably know the answer to this question, but do you guys celebrate Christmas in Egypt? Hello, Cody TR, Code Yater. I don't even know how to say your username. Hello. We're using Vue. We're writing TypeScript. So we're building a Christmas tree generator using Vue and TypeScript is what we're doing right now. I think I saw Zen Browser in one of your shorts. Yeah, I've been using Zen Browser. Yep. I switched over to that like, I don't know, what was it, chat? Like through 6 weeks ago, probably. Like when I started learning Go, I kind of switched over to Zen browser. When Steven realizes they are businesses which do not do that, do not increase their prices just for profit. What? That sounds like a shitty business. I don't think I want to be an investor in a business who isn't focused on making profit. I mean, as somebody who has a lot of money invested in the stock market, I'm totally fine with companies making profit. Please make profit. I would like to retire sooner rather than later. Zen browser, my goat. I like it. The only thing I will say about it is that one, obviously you can't watch like Netflix in the Zen browser, which is kind of lame. Uh, it does seem to be less. How do I put this? It doesn't seem to be as performant as Edge, which I have no benchmarks to back that up. It just doesn't seem to be as snappy as Edge, but maybe that's just me, you know? The thing I love most about the Zen browser is the fact that I can basically hide all the like title bar, the sidebar. I like that I can make it a very minimal experience. That's my favorite part of it. Looking forward to OS side quests. Been there, done that, but there's always something others experience or struggle that I don't know. Yeah, the OS side quests will be fun. I've just got to figure out when I'm gonna buy another computer because right now I have more computers in my house than I have human beings who live here, and so to justify spending another $1,000 or $2,000 on another computer seems irresponsible at this point. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. The Netflix thingy is on Netflix Widevine side. We just waiting for the license for DRM. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So that's a pretty easy fix. That's good. I like it. There's making profit and making profit no matter what it costs. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're for ET and those are for sure different things. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a greedy bastard, man. I just at this point in my life, though, I think at this point in my life, very few things matter beyond achieving some level of financial independence. Um, and I just I see what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like I'm just a small town dude in Kansas, who's trying to save enough money to where he can make work optional. If I have to invest money in Windows, Google, and Meta, and whatever other large company to get there, that's what I'm gonna do. Personally, I like swapping OS on a single computer every now and then, having all my personal files on a separate drive that doesn't go anywhere. Oh, that's smart. That's super smart. So what you have like one place where you put all your. So do you ever have issues using the files across different OSs? Do you ever have any conflicts between like using a file between Mac, Linux, Windows? Alexander, I can't switch to Linux on my main right now because my recording folder is 210 plus gigabytes. Wow. What the heck are you recording? That's a lot of footage, man. Although I shouldn't really talk because I have a NAS that has almost 10 terabytes or 12 terabytes of video footage on it, so I can't really I can't really judge too much. Oblivious. Capitalism will capitalize exactly, and I'm not going to be the guy sitting on the sideline being like, I'm not going to participate because I don't like the way you guys do business, and watch everybody else get way wealthier than me, and I'll just sit there and be like, well, I chose the moral route. I don't think anyone gives a shit that I chose the moral route. choosing the moral route is not going to pay for my retirement, nor is it going to pay for my kids' college education. You know, people people always talk very high. I mean, this is a very cynical point of view, but it is to me it is the real world. People talk a lot about doing the right thing or doing the important thing, or like there's a lot of virtue signaling, but at the end of the day, nobody ever shows up at my house and is like, "Oh, thank you, Steven, so much for being so considerate and thoughtful about that really important topic, really important thing. Let me pay for your rent this month." No one ever does that. So I'm so cynical and ruthless when it comes to money and business. Steven, I'm totally okay with for-profit companies. The problem happens when they try to get mark market share, not just because their product is good, because of their practices. Hey, I won't object to that. Like I there are definitely some business practices that are sketchy. Is that going to stop me from investing in successful, profitable companies? No. I just Is it going to stop me from working for those companies? Probably not. Yeah, I mean, they're just that would severe. If I took that stance, it would severely limit my opportunity. I think if you want to affect change in a big way, the first step is to get a seat at the table, right? That's the first step is you got to get a seat at the table. I think you're gonna find it very hard to fight you to affect change from the outside in a lot of times. Minecraft with friends. Oh, very cool. That sounds like fun. What do you do with the recordings from your Minecraft games? Do you post them, or do you have a YouTube channel or something? You should plug it if you do. That's pretty cool. Good morning, Danny. Merry Christmas. We're currently discussing the finer points of toxic capitalism. It seemed like perfect Christmas morning discussion conversation. Let's see. Oblivious never had. NTFS can be mounted on Linux and BTRF on Windows. Nice. Okay, cool. It's also nice to have an organized personal drive, and let's say I set up Windows, I can just link the pictures folder to that existing folder. Yeah, that sounds like a super nice setup. That would be, I think, my ideal world would look something like that. So is it Oblivious? Is it a network share, or is it something Rafael? I don't even know how to say that. Raphael, maybe Raphael. Thanks you for subbing, man. Appreciate it. I was referring to companies rather than individuals, but to some extent you vote with your money. Oh, 100% you vote with your money. 100% you vote with your money. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is people bitch and complain about, like, as somebody who worked in the food industry here in the United States, a lot of people bitch and complain about the food industry and how like terrible it is and how they're all out to get us. And the thing is, I'm telling you today, if people really wanted healthy food that was manufactured in ethical, quote unquote, clean ways, I'm telling you today, if people were willing to spend money on it, food companies would do it. They would do it in a heartbeat. If you want to spend money and buy that crap, the companies would make those products and they would sell them. The thing is, very few people's actions actually match their words, right? So people say, oh, I have this moral stance, or they do all this virtue signaling, but when it comes down to where they actually spend their money and how they actually spend their money, their actions tell a completely different story. So I do agree. I do agree that like the dollar is the ultimate vote. It really is. My friends, married couple, one a socialist, went into social service, became a therapist. The other one started a successful brewery and sold it. It is a problem in the relationship capitalism won. Yeah, it did, didn't it? And it does. I mean, greed usually wins. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. I think for me, I look at the greed part and kind of think, it's kind of a good thing. And then I think other times I think, oh, that's not really a good thing, you know. But I definitely don't want to be the loser sitting on the sidelines who's broke in 20 or 30 years because I took the moral route, you know. I just don't think anybody's gonna give a shit about that. Also, I'm not judging. I buy shit from Amazon. I do too. I buy shit from Amazon. I buy my groceries from Walmart. I work on a Windows machine. I'm the ultimate trader. Let's see. I also use network shares, but I'm talking about all drives on the same system. Oh, interesting. Okay. So how do you switch OSs? Are you using some sort of virtualization or something? How do you switch OSs? Dylan, that subscribers only mode was bugging out for me. It wouldn't let me comment for like 2 minutes, even though I've been subscribed for days. Anywho, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great one. Sorry about that, Dylan. I'm sorry YouTube let us down there. Merry Christmas to you as well, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you've got a fun day ahead of you. I spent last night setting up Omarchi, and man, I miss apt. So what package manager do they use on Omarchi, Danny? I do have a channel that I want to edit it and post it to, but it's in my other language, so unless you know Swedish, then I don't know. Dude, I think whatever language it is, you should share it with people. Aspirin, can you show me all the modifications that you did on the Edge browser? I didn't really do any modifications on the Edge browser. This is the Zen browser is what I'm using right now. This is the Zen browser. Aspirin. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I've got to do Christmas stuff. Bye bye, everyone. Of course, man. Have a great Christmas. At some point, I'm gonna get, my kids are either gonna come down here or I'm gonna get a text that they're up. So I'll probably dip here at some point too. Personally, I'm more on the progressive capitalism side. I highly endorse it, but my country has no party for it. Basically, capitalism, if it wasn't unethical, look it up since it's hard to explain. Oh no, I think I get what you're saying, Alexander, and I think like intellectually I lean that way. But if I was to look at the way I actually operate in the world, I probably am a hypocrite in terms of like the ideals that I have in my head versus what I actually do with my money on a daily basis. I'm a little bit of a hypocrite in that sense, you know. Like I don't think CEOs should get paid 280x what their workers get paid, but I still buy my groceries from Walmart and I still own Walmart stock and I own Google stock and you know what I mean? Like, so there's for me it's difficult because it seems disingenuous to have like all these high and mighty progressive ideals, but then the way I live my life is completely antithetical to them. So I just try to be honest about that, you know, and have some level of rationale, whether rational or irrational about it. On my workstation, I just format my main drive or boot into another drive. Oh, okay, I see. Pac-Man. Nice. I've never used Pac-Man. Hardware virtualization on Linux is crazy good. I was able to do music production and play games on Windows VM and Linux, no latency. That's pretty cool. I haven't heard of anybody doing a Windows VM on Linux to do gaming. That sounds really cool. Steven's like, Steven's like, to do good, but as long as it does not affect my paycheck. Basically, Suhas, basically. And the reason, Suhas, I feel that way is because I'm a father. And at the end of the day, my job is to provide and protect. And if I let my children or my wife suffer economically, emotionally, physically, because I wanted to be moral or because I wanted to take some sort of a stand, I personally look at that as a failure in doing what my primary job is on planet Earth, right? So that is like if you're a Game of Thrones fan, I'll just put it like this: if you're a Game of Thrones fan, then you know the story of Ned Stark. You know that Ned Stark was a very honorable man who would never do the wrong thing, right? Well, Ned Stark ended up being executed, and he left his children and his wife in a very cold, difficult, painful situation, and they all suffered unspeakable, terrible things. And I look back at Ned Stark and I think, Ned, if you had just swallowed your pride and done the dishonorable thing, you probably would have stayed alive and you probably would have been there to protect your wife and kids. And so I try to remember that. That's something I hold in tension, is because I want to be a good, honorable person, but when it comes to being a husband and a father, there's probably no line I wouldn't cross to protect and provide for them. You know, like like the thing I always say is like I'm not a monster, but I am their monster. You know, and that's the contradiction. I don't know how to rationalize that. It just is what it is. You know, so yeah, I want to do good until it affects my paycheck. Then I don't really give a shit. It would help if capitalist countries were actual democracies. Probably not this representative bullshit. Yeah, it probably would help. It would help a lot in the U.S. In the U.S., what would help a lot is if we overturn Citizens United. We need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of the ability for corporations to contribute to political campaigns as if they were individuals. We need to set very strict term limits on senators and House of Representatives. Um, I think those two things alone would go a really long way in fixing a lot of things. Brave browser is good, right, for ad blocking. What is your opinion on Rust? I'm planning to learn. Right now, I'm a mainframe dev with 2 years experience. I don't know Rust. I've started to try to learn Rust recently, and so far I like it, but I don't really have a very strong opinion on it. I've never used the Brave browser, but I have heard what you heard about ad blocking. I've heard a lot about the Brave browser in terms of like privacy, that it's very, very privacy minded browser. But I'm on Windows, so obviously the privacy has gone out the door at this point. Silas, I agree. Family comes first. Well, that's good. I'm glad you can. I'm glad you can understand where I'm coming from. Basically, the example I gave to some of my friends before was that things like Discord are public source and CEOs are like the previous Nintendo CEO. Oh, that's about okay. That's about the capitalism comment you made. I see. Danny, I'm trying to brute force myself to use NeoVim. So how did you learn it? So Danny, the way I did it was just cold turkey. One day I just decided I was going to do it, and then I spent how many ever hours it took to get NeoVim properly configured, and then I just started using it. I only used NeoVim for any type of side project development work. I only used NeoVim. And I just struggled for like 2 or 3 weeks of tripping over my fingers until I tripped over my fingers less. There's this, I will say, there's this game I found on um, online called Vim Adventures. I thought this was a fun game to learn Vim. You basically like play as a little character and you learn to move your guy around. I thought that was a fun way to learn Vim motions, which I think for most people the motions is the biggest learning curve when you pick up NeoVim. Bob Knoll, but Ned did. He went back on his morals for his kids and at the last moment, but was executed anyways because Joffrey sucked. Okay, so Bob, here's my opinion on that. The night before he was put in jail and all the bad shit started to happen, Renly Baratheon came to him. Renly Baratheon came to him and said, look, Robert's dead. Shit's going down. Come with me. I'm going to make a play for the throne. But Ned wanted to do the honorable thing. And instead, what Ned should have done right then is Ned should have known he's in a pit of snakes. There's no way he's going to be able to do the right thing with Cersei Lannister around. he should have backed Renly's play. He should have got his kids, got his family, got the hell out of King's Landing. That's what he should have done. That's as Ned's story is one of honor that leads to foolishness, that ultimately leads to the downfall, not the downfall, but the suffering of the Starks, in my opinion. While Ned Stark's my favorite character in Game of Thrones, but I take away that lesson all the time. Suhas, how long you will be a law-abiding citizen when your family is starving? Yeah, not long at all. I mean, to be honest, not long at all. Yeah, my pet peeves with elected people is that in no major country, at least there are no actual consequences if they don't deliver on their campaign promises. Yeah, there aren't any consequences. The campaign promises are purely marketing to get votes, and then after that, once they're in, and part of that also falls on the electorate. Like we at least in the United States, we just don't have the attention span to follow up on things after the elections happen. Like people get elected and then we move on with our lives. I did typo. I meant forcing, not brute forcing. Danny, Ned should have played along. Yes, he should have. Yeah, I have very strong feelings about this. He's my favorite character, but I have very strong feelings about the fact that he should have been more ruthless and more cutthroat, and he should have, like, again, it goes back to that whole thought of, like, Littlefinger and Cersei were ruthless and cutthroat and did the wrong thing, and they came out on top of Ned, and Ned did the right thing. But no one gives a shit that Ned did the right thing. Ned is dead. No one cares. He's dead. He no longer matters. So that's where it's like, I think maintaining a seat at the table and remaining a participant is much more important than... I know we're talking about a high fantasy world here. I know that, but I think there's lessons that you can draw from these stories that apply to your real life as well. Hey, Steven, what are your thoughts on Base 44? I've never used it. I've only seen ads. Dari, I've only seen ads. From the YouTube ads I've seen, it looks cool. But I've never actually used it. It seems like it'll be a really cool tool for people to unlock the ability to make things that maybe they wouldn't have been able to make for themselves in the past. Christoph, thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. I think Rob was fool. He was a fool. But to be fair, Rob was young. Rob was young and inexperienced. He was a summer child, right? So Rob, to me, Rob's mistakes are not as condemning. But I take more issue with Ned because Ned was a grown man, fought multiple battles and wars, and had seen this Game of Thrones play itself out multiple times before, and the fact that he wasn't able to navigate that with some level of, I don't know. I more fault him than I do Rob for Rob's mistakes. In India, every single person blamed for the other for the current state of India. Well, that sounds like the United States. We technically illegal lobbying, but lobbying happens. Oh, interesting. Yeah, lobbying here in the United States is like, that's like part of the business, Bob, no, I learned Vim because I watched a vid of Gary Bernhardt doing TDD in Vim. It seemed like magic. Nice. I don't know who Gary is, but TDD and Vim, yeah, that could convince you for sure. Tad, happy Christmas, man. Happy Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas. Hope you're doing well, man. In here, people give money to vote a certain way. So in the United States, that's basically what happens, but people don't say that is happening, but we all kind of know it's happening. No one outright says that because then that would be illegal, but we all kind of know that that's what's happening in the in back rooms. Sahil, good morning. Good morning, Sahil. Good to see you. Dari, I have a huge, big contract to make a website application. Well, first off, let's clap it up for that big contract, man. That's awesome. That probably took work, so let's give you some claps for that, man. Let's see. And personally, as a software engineer who stopped coding for a long while, I totally forgot everything. So I'm looking into AIs or FCSs. Go for it. I mean, I mean, why not? I mean, you gotta deliver on your contract, right? I'm not gonna tell you if you got. I'm not gonna tell you to go spend 6 months learning programming all over again. Although I would guess it would come back to you pretty fast. Like I'd imagine as you get into this project, it's all gonna come flooding back. It's like riding a bike. Tochi, vue.js. We are doing vue.js, but I have kind of stalled. We made a lot of progress in the first 20 minutes, and then I got sidetracked by all our conversations. We haven't connected our slider to our tree yet, actually, so that's the next thing we're gonna do. Etienne, the Rob/Ned duality. I didn't know I had so many Game of Thrones fans in my chat. This is so fucking awesome. The the Rob Ned duality is kind of interesting. Ned is all about honor, which ultimately kills him. Rob is all about being pragmatic, but ignoring honor ultimately kills him as well. Wow. I I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that to me before, but that's actually such a great point. You're 100% right. It's almost like the lesson there is, I think the lesson there, right, is you have to, what is the lesson there? The lesson there is there too little of something and maybe too much of something is a bad thing, right? Being ruthlessly pragmatic ends in ends in a loss, and being ruthlessly honorable also lends. I've never heard anybody say that before. That's gonna have me thinking. That's gonna have me thinking. Yeah, it does. His lack of willingness to honor commitments and the duty, to his desire to pursue his own selfish wants is what kills him. It really is. Dude, that one broke my brain. That was total. That comment alone was worth streaming this morning. Mate, man, Tywin was one smart guy. Yeah, Tywin, talk about a ruthless pragmatist. Yeah, yeah, he was a terrible, awful human being, but talk about a ruthless pragmatist. Yeah, that dude, that dude was cutthroat. I hope so. Besides, I'm good at getting my way into getting deals and contracts, but finishing them up is another story. Thanks for the claps, bro. Of course. So, Dari, I think you need to get a partner, man. If you're great at getting deals and contracts, that's the. I mean, f- fulfilling business is difficult, right? So, being on the client side of the house in any business where you actually have to be operational is difficult. But getting business is, in my opinion, is harder. It's harder. So maybe you need a partner. If you're really good at that stuff, maybe you need more of an operational guy that you can throw the, like, you can just focus on getting deals and contracts, and then the other guy can handle the fulfillment. The only lesson I took away is that GRRM loves to make his audience angry by killing favorite characters. He does enjoy that. Yeah, he does enjoy that. I read all the Game of Thrones books when I was in college. I worked as a medical scribe in the emergency room, and so during downtime, I would read, like in between patients, like on night shifts. It was usually really dead, and I remember I was reading that book on shift one day when I read that when Ned was executed, and I just remember being completely stunned, and just like What? What just happened? How could this happen? I just remember being so blown away. I think the lesson is Valar Morghulis. Yes, it's exactly that. It's so funny too. You guys probably won't believe this, but in my living room, I have a giant poster with Jon Snow on it, and it says Valar Morghulis on it. Yeah, yeah. Our mortality is a given. I I love. I can't believe that. I can't believe that we have some major Game of Thrones people in the chat. This is wonderful. Somehow I ended up around the people I wanted to end up around on the internet. This is great. Uh, Makes sense. I do believe that I need a good project manager per se. Yeah, project manager, just somebody who's more operationally focused, right? Just it doesn't seem like your interest lies there, and doesn't probably seem like your skill lies there. So yeah, if you can afford it, or if you have margin for it, seems like you could find somebody who doesn't want to do all the customer stuff, the sales stuff, and just partner up with them. Valar Do Harris. This is so great. We're just having a full on Christmas Game of Thrones nerdiness. I love it. All men must serve, all men must die. Indeed, this is the way of life. All right, let's try to connect my slider input to the size of my tree. So how do we want to do this? Um, well, I bet Copilot can one-shot this. What do you think? Okay, so for every row, let me see. I'm gonna have const tree level. Yeah. So we're gonna say const tree rows. How do you do? Oh, computed. Yeah, computed. So we want rows for I and the size of tree, and then we want cells. Number of cells is I times 2 plus 1. Yeah, 1 times 2, 2 times. Yep, that's right. That's what we want. Oh god, there we go. Copilot, come on. What are you doing? What the hell? Every time I hit tab, it's not. There we go. It's like it's not inserting. And then we'll render those out. So we'll say map. Yep. I actually think I want this to be here. Well, that's not right. Roger that, bro. Respect. If that's the case, I'll see y'all later. Merry Christmas from all the way across the ocean. Merry Christmas to you, man. I hope you have a great day. Steamed and did I got banned? No, I didn't ban you. I can see you. Yeah, you didn't get banned. You're here. Bob, that makes me want to watch the series again. I just have to stop at season 6. Yeah, the series is great. Yeah, the series is good. The series is good. It's not as good as the books, but they did a really good job with the series. I'm still waiting around for. Yeah, I'm still waiting around for the final book. My wife likes to tease me and say that I will never see it, but I'm holding out hope that I will see it. Wager Kings. Hello, Wager Kings. Keep pushing. Love your content. Oh, dude, that's super kind, man. Merry Christmas. That's what a nice present for someone to leave. I really, really appreciate that. Don't want that. I think Copilot was trying to write React in Vue there for a second. All right, there we go. There's our tree. Oh, I think the minimum, we should restrict the minimum a bit. Let's see, min is going to be 3. And max is going to be... You can't go below 3, but you can go up to 4. Love it. Love it. Merry Christmas. You can build a really big Christmas tree now. That said, weren't those supposed to be 2 more books in the series? Jerry has been stuck on the Winds of Winter for years. Yeah, well, I don't know if there were supposed to be 2 more. I just know that there's supposed to be the Winds of Winter, and we've been stuck. He's been stuck on there for like a decade. He's been writing for like a decade. That said, love it when other people also fight with tabs and Copilot, so at least I'm not the only one. Dude, I fight with it all the time. And I'm not 100% certain that the tabs are my fault as so much as they are my NeoVim configuration. I think I have some conflicting stuff going on between the Copilot tab completion and my normal snippet completion that I need to work out at some point, but I haven't. So I can't, but yeah, the Copilot generating annoyingly incorrect stuff is something sometimes it's very weird because sometimes it's like Copilot can't lose, you know. It's like a Copilot gets on like a streak where everything it generates is like bang 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 bang, and then all of a sudden it's like the quality of the completions fall off a cliff. Why that happens, I'm not really sure. I don't know if the context window becomes polluted, or I don't know. I honestly don't know what, but yeah, there's like times where it just completely degrades. But you are not the only one, indeed. ETN, can you make the width modular respective to the height? Maybe. Maybe. A Dream of Spring is supposed to be the final book. Oh, okay, cool. So 2 more books. Well, then we're probably not going to get the final book. We're probably going to have someone step in and do that for us. I mean, no offense to him. He's just kind of an older guy, you know? Like, what are you going to do? Sabello, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. All right, we don't need this anymore. I do want to change this. So we're going to do div class control group. I hate the way, for whatever reason, whenever I format my code, I hate the way it's being formatted. All right, let's do tree. Controls, yep, that's fine. Control group. Good. Good. What else? Label. The color. The color looks wrong. Control group. Yep. And actually make the font size or font weight. Yep, font weight bold. And then let's take the range. I don't really want to screw with that too much. There we go. All right, that's pretty much. There's probably some stuff I could do with sizing here. Maybe let's see. What if let's see, tree. Let's define a custom property here. Cell. Yeah, cell size. And then let's do bar cell size. Height. I think it'd be fun if we clicked on the tree. I think it'd be fun if we like put ornaments on the tree when you click on it. I think that'd be kind of fun. So let's see if we can figure that out next. And let's try to see what happens if we scale this down by half. Gives us a little bit more room to work with before we run out of. That poor little trunk is supporting one giant ass tree, ain't it? Let's put a, what does it look like if we put a little bit of a box shadow on the rows? So we kind of give it like the look that like the branches are overhanging one another. Ooh, that looks terrible. We want that on the individual cells. But we don't want it on all the cells. We don't want it on all the directions. We just want it, huh, that's kind of an interesting looking tree with the shadows on it. I don't know. I kind of like it. It looks weird, but I kind of like it. There's something, I mean, there's lots that look weird about this, but I don't care. So what if we made it so when you click on the tree, we place an ornament? How would we do that? So I guess what we could do is when you click, we could capture the position of your click. And we could hold on to that in some sort of how could we do that? So I guess what I have in mind is we could click, we could grab your mouse position and then place the, let's see. How do you do that? Oh my god, dude. This thing keeps formatting my... This is really bothering me the way this thing keeps formatting my code. Well, I really don't want to set up prettier or ESLint for this. Doesn't seem necessary, but it's really bugging me. Excuse me. Which extension are you using to code on PowerShell? So this is NeoVim, Kratos, NeoVim. And these are my configs. So I'm using NeoVim in PowerShell. So I'm on Windows. I use the terminal app, and I use PowerShell as my shell of choice, and then I have NeoVim running in PowerShell. So that's how it looks like it does. And Neo. If you're not familiar with NeoVim, NeoVim is like a newer fork of Vim that has more support for like customizability and extendability. Sharon, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Good to see you. Bob, oh, I just saw your post in Discord yesterday. You got AOC Day 10 Part 2. I did. I did. Uh, what I what I ended up doing was I ended up using somebody in the Reddit posted the solution where you can essentially use the even odd pattern of the joltage. So basically your all your joltages have an even or odd, right? Each number is even or odd. And so then what I did was I pre-calculated the given all the button combinations, what are the values that pressing all the combinations of buttons, what are the values that get decremented from the joltages? And then based on the even odd pattern of the joltage, that's how I would pick which combination of button to use. Then I would press those buttons, decrement the counter, and then mod the targets by 2, divide them by 2 actually, and then repeat that just endlessly. So it's a little slow. I think it runs in like 3 seconds or 4 seconds, but it does solve the problem. So I guess you didn't have to know linear algebra to solve that problem, but it seems like a lot of people just went right to linear algebra, but apparently there was like a pattern hidden in the buttons and in the joltage, the target joltages. And I'm guessing Eric's intention was we were supposed to pick up on that, but it seems like nobody picked up on it. Which I think is hilarious. Sean Dev, my guy's live again. Hello, Sean Dev. Don't know what you're coding though. So today's Christmas here in the United States, and so, well, I guess it's really Christmas anywhere you are in the world, but a lot of Americans celebrate Christmas, and so we are building a Christmas tree generator, which basically looks like this at the moment. And so now what I'd like to do, I'm gonna Sean Dev. Basically, I'm gonna stream until my kiddos wake up, and then we're gonna do our Christmas together and do our morning and whatnot. Yeah, that's what we're building, is a Christmas tree generator. So what I want to do now is I want to make it so if I click on the tree, I can place an ornament there. So that's the next idea we're gonna try to implement. ETN said, "Damn it! I knew this part of my education was a scam." Yeah, the whole education thing is kind of a scam, but it's a scam we've all bought into. So we have to participate now. I did linear algebra anyways because I wanted to refresh my knowledge. Yeah, that I definitely have a huge glaring gap in my knowledge there. So I probably should spend some time maybe finding a course or something, just given how important linear algebra has become with the ever increasing impact that AI and these transformers and machine learning has on our field. It probably would be good to have a good grok on that topic. But yeah, apparently basically you could essentially use sort of a bit operation where you're basically only focusing on one place and then shifting the place right as you go. So like you figure out the ones, then you figure out the twos, the ones, the tens, the hundreds places as you go and loop through it. I did not see that pattern. Like I said, I didn't see that pattern. I only saw that pattern after looking at another guy's Reddit post where he was talking about you could use the even odd patterning of the joltage meters to figure out which buttons to press or which combination of buttons to press. So I really can't take credit for solving that one. I have to say that I was wholly and completely stumped, and the only way to get unstumped was to figure out what I didn't know. The evenness made sense to me for part one, but I didn't see how to use it for part two, and neither did I. I had to go read that guy's. I had to read that guy's post and was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I think that's a difficult thing when you're solving a problem, though, is you can kind of get blinded. Like, what am I trying to say? When you get good at solving problems like that, sometimes your pattern recognition leads you to miss the obvious or simple explanation, right? Does that make sense? Like everyone immediately recognized it as a system of equations and then immediately went down the linear algebra route. And yet under the hood there was a simpler approach to get there without needing to know linear algebra. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Something I put in the back of my mind to maybe not to always jump to conclusions about what the solution should be, and spend a lot more time thinking and understanding the problem first. Exactly like day 12. Exactly like day 12. Yeah. Which I wouldn't have, the solution you guys gave yesterday with the 9 times the number of presents, right? That solution. I don't think I would have gotten there. Yeah, I made it way too complicated. But then when you guys said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, you're 100% right. It is actually that. It is. It is. It could really be that simple. Yeah, it could really be that simple, which was pretty wild. I don't know. I really, the thing is, I fight with myself because I really enjoy Advent for Code. I really enjoy the problem solving nature of it. But now that we're at the end of the 24 days, I'm kind of back in that place where I think I far more enjoy building stuff like this. And while it's not as technically challenging, it's way more fun to have like a visual, usable, interactable thing, you know? This is way more fun to put together and work through and experiment with than I think solving leak code is, honestly. But I respect those of you who like to grind leak code. That's totally valid way to spend your time. I'm in my first semester of a bachelor's in science of computer science. Can you guys tell me what to focus on in 2026? I'm sick of the AI and full stack shit. I'm too stuck. Looks like there are hella smart people in the chat too. Guide me, guys. There are hella smart people in the chat. For sure there are. Probably way smarter than me. Uh yeah, I don't know if I have any great advice on what to focus on in 2026. I think in my opinion, the focus should be on the things that are always going to matter, and being able to solve problems is always going to matter, right? AI or no AI, being able to learn new things is always going to matter, AI or no AI. Um, Sathia, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I just never really know what to build outside of work or leak code or how to even start. It is a problem. That is a real problem. What to build? Yeah, I feel you. Nobody cares about AI. Just focus on real world problems. Yeah, I think the AI thing. I think that's actually one of my goals for 2026 is to talk about AI existentialism a lot less because I find the conversation just so unhelpful and non-useful. you know, this whole question of like software engineers are cooked, AI is going to take our job, they're going to make us obsolete, yada 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 yada. I think AI is a powerful tool. We should definitely be exploring ways to use it in our applications and in our workflows, but I think too much emotional energy and time is being wasted on will it impact us, how much it will impact us, like who, at the end of the day, who fucking cares, right? Like, we should just focus on getting better at the things we want to get better at and let the chips fall where they may, you know? Can't wait for that bubble to burst. God, yes. God, yes. I don't grind leak code. I just get hyped for AOC each December. I do get hyped for AOC each December as well. But I can definitely tell that some people are way more skilled at it than I am. Way more skilled at it than I am. Let's see. On. Counted. Let's see. Let's do. It's sort of already been bursting, to be honest. I hope it continues to be burst. I hope it continues to burst. It's not even so much that I hope it bursts. I'm ready for us to talk about something else. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just ready for us to have a conversation that isn't just constantly circulating around will it or won't it, and how much will it and how much won't it. You know, it's like AI is a really powerful technology, and it's probably going to continue to impact our lives in both good and bad ways, a lot like the internet. And does that mean as a software engineer you should just stop working on your craft, though? I don't think so, right? So until that changes, like, let's talk about getting better at the things we enjoy doing, you know? Let's see. Handle. Click. Okay, so let's add a little bit of a if. That's kind of interesting. Copilot wants to change the color of the cells when we click on it. That's kind of an interesting idea. That's kind of fun. Although what I wanted to do was I wanted to place ornaments, not just change the color. But that's kind of fun. I mean, that's a vibe, right? That's a vibe. But what I really want to do is I want to like place little red circular balls wherever I click is what I want to do, so that we can decorate our tree. Maybe we could do this, but instead of it changing the whole cell, maybe we can put lights on it. We can use this to put lights on it. I think would be better. So let me save this. I'm going to comment this out really quick because I kind of want to save that code that it came up with. Yo, Steven, Merry Christmas. Hey, Crow of Demise, good to see you, man. Merry Christmas to you as well. 2-man army. Hey, Steven, I have been really unmotivated recently. Damn, you make me want to me get up. You make me want to get up. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I can be a little motivation to you. I just want to be able to get more RAM and larger SSD. So I have a question for you guys about that. Do you think that the RAM shortage is like a genuine shortage, or do you think that is some sort of market manipulation by the participants. I obviously that one company pulling out of the consumer space had a huge effect. But I wonder how much is it genuinely a bottleneck in the manufacturing chain versus how much of it is the companies just minding their supply versus the demand, right? I'm sure there's a little bit of both going on, but the prices of the RAM is just unbelievable. I mean, from what I've heard, certain stores now they won't even tell you the price until you go into the store. You have to like go into the store and ask like, what RAM do you have today and what's the price? That seems crazy. Hey, Christmas tree stuff. That's cool. Yeah, some type of ball stuff. Yeah, we thought this would be very on theme for today. Is build a Christmas tree generator. Is what we're building. 199. It's a true shorted. Jake is a Jordan. Hey chat, Steven just passing by to say Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, man. Thanks for stopping in. Very kind of you. It's a true shortage and a little bit of manipulation. Okay. Because these companies are buying years in advance. Yeah, so that's where I was kind of wondering, like, is the demand really outpacing their forecast, I guess? 100% because of AI rush. Okay. Crucial products are definitely a rarity now, but in my opinion, it's mostly companies just realizing they can increase prices and people will still pay. The RAM shortage is definitely like some type of way to make shit cost more. Even Samsung is struggling to get hardware for their stuff. That's wild. AI is making gaming a pain. It was only supposed to take jobs, not my fun. uh, why AI? Why? Jonathan, thanks for subscribing. you, you were only supposed to take my livelihood.
Keep the vibe up, a fellow developer from Germany.
Thank you very much, Micah. That's too freaking nice, man. Too freaking nice. Also, Merry Christmas to those of you in Germany. That's awesome, dude. I would love to come and visit Germany one day. I really admire how much emphasis Germans place on being technically sound in all fields of study. I would love to come to Germany. Thank you very much for that super chat, man. That's way too kind. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Companies are announcing they're not going to make RAM for consumers because all the money is in data centers. Yeah, I saw that. That was what was the name of that company? Mike what was that? Was it Mictron? Why do I want to say that? Microtron or something like that? RAM. What was the name of that company? RAM company pulls out of consumer business. It was like one of the three. Micron. That's what it was. Micron. They were like one of the three largest, right? They have like 30% share or 20% share or something like that in the RAM business. Excuse me. And the Crucial brand, that seemed like the most affordable brand of RAM you could get out there is this brand right here. So that really sucks. Let's see. Yeah, maybe add like something to the tree that allows you to string lights, or maybe even like add custom Christmas ornaments with images or something. Oh, that would be really cool. Custom images, that would be awesome. I think I'm just gonna do red balls to start with, but the custom images would be cool. So all forms of storage going up, even RAM going up, graphics card up. Oblivious. There was a stick of RAM I would have recommended that used to cost $250, but now goes for $1,300 on this. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. What are you trying to build? Is your job a software engineer job? No, Relico, I work at my day job, which you're more than welcome to connect with me over on LinkedIn. I keep my LinkedIn pretty up to date so that all my professional history is over there if you'd like to creep on it. But my day job, I work as a quality engineer, is my day job. But then in my free time, I like to do a lot of web dev stuff. Web dev, CLIs, odds and ends types of projects. I just like to write code and program and build stuff for fun. So I do my day job as a quality engineer, and then in my free time, I make stuff. But good to have you here, man. Good to see you. Micron is the parent company brand, which actually put out as Crucial. Okay, yeah, Crucial. That's the brand that I recognize from looking for RAM in the past. It'd be even cooler if the community can make their own little trees for you. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, 100%. That's probably more involved than I'm gonna get done today, though. I put my PC together, and my God, RAM and shortage was expensive. Yeah, that sucks, dude. That really sucks. What a horrible time to pick to build a new computer. ET and software quality. Yeah. So yeah, my day job, I work as a quality engineer for a software company. Yeah, I do manual and automated testing for my company builds like a no code platform that's kind of aimed at GRC, governance, risk, and compliance folks. You know, lawyers, accountants, uh, auditors, that sort of thing. And so I help do the development of that. Relic, oh, sick. Are you using C Sharp for web dev? I do use some C Sharp for web dev. Right now we're using Vue, but I really enjoy working with Blazor in the C. When I'm in C Sharp and I want to build something that's front end related, I like using Blazor. And I almost always build my backends in C Sharp. C Sharp's like my favorite language, for sure. My favorite language by far. Sean Dev, how to get into QA? Is it any good? I'm not really familiar with tech trends. I don't know about trends. I've only worked in QA in the software world for about 4 years, 5 years. So it's hard for me to speak too much about like long term trends. How I got into it was basically a series of positions within the same company. So I don't know if my journey is like super replicable or applicable to all journeys. I like it though. I think it's very. I don't know if I would like it as much if the software that I worked on wasn't very complex. Like if I was just building like data over form or forms over data type of applications, or if our company built like a really simple tool, my job might be kind of boring. But because our software is so complex and it's basically like a piece of software that lets other people build software on top of it. So if you think of something like Salesforce or any of those, you know, ServiceNow, any of those no code, low code platforms, the job is actually super challenging, both from an automation perspective as well as a manual perspective. It does seem like, based on what when I go to conferences, like when I go to KCDC every year, which is the Kansas City Developer Conference, it does seem like URSS. I don't know how to say that name, but thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. It does seem like when I talk to other developers, it seems like less and less companies have dedicated QA functions, and it seems like more and more companies are embedding QA into developer teams. So that's definitely a trend I see. I don't know if that's a long term or short term or an ongoing trend, but definitely seems to be something there. My wife just asked me to build a customer inventory billing management software for her watchmaking and repairing business she's setting up. Guess I know what to build now. That sounds cool. That sounds like a very cool project. Yeah, I love that. Make the tree a spinning 3D shape. Okay. That sounds hard. Bob Knoll, step one, become a food scientist. Yeah, my career trajectory um, has been very odd, very eclectic, and probably not super applicable to a lot of people. So, got a question. I've been doing some web dev too, but one thing I don't really get is APIs and understanding how to pass header info or what header info to pass when making an API call. Got any? Well, the nice thing is a lot of the underlying HTTP clients, whether it be in .NET or whether it be in JavaScript or TypeScript, whatever your language you're using, a lot of them will actually add a lot of headers just by default for you. So you usually don't have to be super explicit about most headers. Like if you send a JSON response, most of these fetch implementations will append a content type header for you. Or if you're sending a file, most of them will automatically append the content length header. So a lot of times, a lot of that information that you would put in headers, you don't have to concern yourself with it as much when you're working in a language that has a strong HTTP client implementation. The only headers I think about using are usually headers that are explicitly stated are part of the contract of the API that you're talking to, right? Some APIs will explicitly say you have to set the user agent header, or some of them will say, you have to provide this type of API key, right? Things like those are usually the headers that I concern myself with setting, is like making sure that I satisfy whatever the constraint is. Of the of the service that I'm talking to. So I don't typically think too much about it, like especially when it comes to those boilerplate headers like content type, content length, um, accept. What are the other ones on the request? I mean, obviously there's headers both on the request and on the response. Uh, yeah, nothing else comes to mind um, in particular. Latte, thanks for subbing, appreciate it. Shashika, why don't you switch to Linux? The probably for the same reason you don't switch to Windows. I'm assuming you like Linux and you don't like Windows. And my reason is I like Windows and I like Linux, and at this point I don't have any good reason to switch from Windows to Linux. Steven, can you answer my question? What did you say, Suha? Sorry, I missed it. I was kind of rambling there for a second. Step 2, learn data science, gather mass information. Yeah. Let's see, what did you ask? I have a doubt why the supply chain doesn't balance itself out. Like if there's a higher demand, then higher minds push the factories through full throttle so that they can get their better profits also. I would guess the supply and demand just sometimes doesn't reach an equilibrium because of challenges likely in terms of scaling up supply to meet demand fast enough, right? Especially in complex supply chains like building chips. There's a lot of complex manufacturing involved there. And then you're also dealing with like a rare raw materials or limited raw materials, right? So I'm guessing it's more of a, if they could ramp up supply to meet the demand, they probably would. But there's a challenge to like respond fast enough to the demand, right? If I had to guess, I don't really know, but I'm throwing out a hypothesis to answer your question. I was taught using JUnit and QA programs for my IT career, so assigning QA to devs seems like long term. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think from what I hear from most people I speak to in that world, it seems like having dedicated QA functions is becoming less and less of a thing. They're like, oh, cheers, man! Appreciate your stream. I'll check out some more. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, you're always welcome to stop by and hang out. All kind and generous folk are welcomed here. Assholes, not so much. We excommunicate the assholes. It costs billions to start a new fabrication factory in years, so the bubble which they know is one is not worth because demand will go down. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, you are in this battle between when your ability to bring new supply to the market is on such a long lead time. Now to your point, you're kind of talking about the risk of capital investment. Like, do you dump all the capital in at the risk that the demand dries up? and then you're left with too much supply, which then obviously leads to a deflationary effect in terms of your pricing and your ability to sell things. It's difficult. It's difficult. Shashika, I used a potato laptop, so I installed Linux. After that, I liked it a lot, so I never looked back. I think that's wonderful. I think people, Shashika, my opinion on this shit is people should use the tools and technologies that light them up. Whatever tools and technologies make you want to build more shit, write more code, learn new things, that's what you should use. And if that's Linux for you, do Linux, right? If that's Windows, do Windows. If that's Mac OS, do Mac OS. If you want to write your code in Notepad++, do that. uh, yeah, go for it. I love John Wick. John Wick is great. Actually, all of my at work, all the browser automation that we have, the user persona that does a lot of the testing, that logs in and does the tests, that user is named John Wick. And so like all the test data is largely based around the John Wick universe. Nobody has said anything about it yet, so I'm just gonna keep doing it until someone says, "Hey, you can't do that." Let's see, event dot. Okay, so this is, I always struggle with figuring out what XY do I want. The mouse property is an alias for the client X property. So I think, but what's the difference between client X and page X? Because what I want is I want the location of the mouse. Location. Go cool. Thanks for subbing. I appreciate that, man. Very kind of you. I got distracted a lot this morning by chat. We made a lot of progress early on, but then you want all the X and Y's. So do I want client X or do I want client X, page Y? Which one do I want? I think I want these. So what I want to do is I want to get the target, and I want to check to see if the target, excuse me, const is cell, and if it is a cell, or if it's not a cell, we'll return. And then otherwise we'll do something with the location. Otherwise we'll say const location is going to be equal to I think I want X and Y. Is Z good? I use anti-gravity, but knowing Google. I've tried Z for like an hour one day, and I didn't care for it. But it's probably changed quite a bit. Shanshika, do you use a Vim distro? I use Zeditor. I use NeoVim, Shashika. That's what I'm programming in right now. But I also use VS Code and Visual Studio and Writer. I use a bunch of different editors, whatever feels right and appropriate for the job or whatever the vibes are calling for that day. Hover to change color is a cool idea. Yeah, I like that. I want to be able to place ornaments, and then I think what I want to do is I want to take the idea of changing colors and use it for lights. So we'll have like a toggle switch that's like place an ornament, or you can switch and you can place lights, and the lights will kind of have like a glowy, blinky effect to them. I think is what I want to do. So we need to collect the locations. So I'm going to say I need some state for this. So we're gonna have const. We're gonna have let's do ornament. Yeah, ornaments like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna push. And I also prefer with syntax. That's fine. We can use that syntax. That's fine. Then what we want to do is we want to render out the ornaments. But I kind of want it to be always positioned relative to the tree. So it's almost like but the X and Y is relative to the whole page. And what I really want is I want X and Y relative to the cell it was clicked on. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. $394. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna ask Gemini how to do this. So let's see. I want to click on an element and get the location of that click relative to that element in X, Y coordinate. See what Gemini says to do here. So let's see. The method works consistently even if the element has children, borders, and scroll. So we get the client X, client Y minus the rec left, rec top. You might see offset X suggested as simple alternatives. While easier, they have specifically that often causes bugs. Okay, we can try this. So then that means what we need to do to the tree is we'd set position relative. And then we'd have ornaments. Let's see, ornaments, ornament. Position absolute. They're going to be red circles. Let's make them a little smaller. So let's do 10 pixels. Okay. And then we're going to do what they suggested, which is const rec. And then we're going to do rec left. That's what Gemini said, right? Yeah. then what we'll do is we'll render those out in the tree. Oh no, but we don't want the cell. We don't want this to be relative to the cell. We want it to be relative to the overall tree. So this is where we probably need a ref to the tree. Right? So instead of this, we will say, let's do tree ref const tree ref equals not use ref, template ref. Yeah, there we go. And then we have to stick that down here on our tree, and we'll say ref equals tree ref. That. And then we'll say, oh my goodness, why does it do that? Sometimes when I hit tab, it just completely jumps to the complete wrong place. Tree does not exist on type tree. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Oh, let's also render these out. So let's go into our tree. And after we render our rows, we'll render our ornaments. Yes, that's what we want. Thank you, Copilot. Let's see what happens. Pirate Software just went live. Hey, looky there. Now we need to be able to remove, oh whoops, when we change the size of our tree, we should probably reset our ornament, shouldn't we? Looky there, guys. We can put ornaments on our tree. We should probably do different colors too, right? Because red is kind of, now it looks like we're just painting it. It looks like we shot our Christmas tree with a paintball gun is what it looks like. These ornaments should probably be styled better. See ya, Bard. Yeah. Merry Christmas. See ya, Etienne. Have a good day. Merry Christmas. It does look like we're shooting it with a paintball gun, though. Okay, so let's do whenever the we need to do like a watch where it's like watch. And what we're actually going to do is whenever the size of the tree changes, we want to clear the ornaments. So we're here. Let's put some ornaments on there. Great, 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 great. But if we change the size, we'll clear it. And let's make the ornaments a little bigger. Maybe 20 pixels was the right call. Gonna hit the digital road now. Have a nice one. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Micah. Thanks again for the super chat, man. That was way too kind. Way, way, way too kind. Yeah, that's what I want. So now we need to be able to remove them. So like if I place it and I'm like, I don't like that, I want to be able to remove it. So let's say if, let's do, if cell equals false, return. If const is ornament, then what we want to do is we say if it is ornament, we want to do something different here. So if it is an ornament, then we want to basically remove that particular ornament. So we should probably have some sort of way to identify it. Well, actually, what we could do is instead of doing it like that, what we could do is we could have a click handler for the ornaments. So we could say function handle ornament click, and then we can say we still have to be able to identify which ornament we want to be able to remove. So we need to come up with some way to identify it. And I feel like we should just use the index, probably. I think the index would be enough. Oh yeah, we could do that with this. So we could say handle ornament click, pass in the index, which is going to be a number, and then just say let's see, ornaments dot value dot how do we do this? Oh, isn't there a remove at now? Remove at? I thought there was a remove at now in JavaScript. Maybe I'm wrong. Remove JavaScript. Remove at. I guess not. That sucks. That sucks. That's fine. Two spliced. So we'll say ornaments.value equals ornaments.value.toSplice. But that mutates the original, right? So I don't really have to assign it. Do I have to assign it? Let's see. I'm down here. And we'll say do that. Okay, let's make our Christmas tree larger for a sec here. We'll add an ornament, remove it. Add. Now remove them all. Well, looky there. I mean, come on. I mean, that's way more impressive than solving advent of code. I don't know about you guys. Dude, are my kids not awake yet? I'm so freaking surprised my kids aren't awake yet. I keep thinking like they woke up and didn't tell me they woke up. Let's see, it'd be better, pop better, in my opinion. Plus, if he makes the ordinances glow, it'll make it look nice, or even some way to string up lights with a black line wire that acts like the lights. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe change the background color to something darker so it contrasts better. Yeah, somebody suggested it needed to be bright red. That seemed like it needed to be on theme. Why not make the ornaments flicker with random colors? Would take a lot of time probably. No, we should do that. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Actually, let's use the code that Copilot generated for us up here and see if we can't take advantage. Oh, did I delete that code? Dang it, I deleted that code. Um, so what we could do is we could do uh, color. Yep, we could do that. Well, it's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, probably because. Let's see, ornament is background is red. Oh, because that shouldn't be color. That should be background color. Sorry. Change this to background. And then get rid of the background on the actual class. There we go. So now we have different colored ones. And then we can make, well, I don't know, because I wanted to make lights too. And now it's kind of hard to tell, is these lights or these ornaments? uh, this is so silly. Oh, wow, look at that. See, because I have a bug, don't I? Because see, the color is being generated randomly, right? So when I remove it from the array, right? The view re-renders the component, and because the colors are being generated randomly at render time, you don't get persistent. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bug to me. That seems like a feature. But yeah, it's a bug. So what we actually need to do is we probably need to generate the color at the time that we push it into our array, and that way it's persistent across renders. So we'll just move this up here. We'll do that, and we'll say we'll extend our type here, and we'll say color. Color is going to be a string. We'll say color equals, yep, exactly that. Actually, it equals this. And we don't have an index currently. We could have we could do ornaments dot value dot length, and then down here, instead of doing that, we can do ornaments dot color. Whoops, ornament dot color. So then what we should see now is when we place ornaments, they should have a random color, but then when we remove the ornament, the color shouldn't change. Very nice. What a simple, silly project, but this is fun, and it's very on brand for the day of the year. Add some light snowfall. Yeah, we do. We need, well, I mean, there's so many things we could do to make this so much better. There's so many ways to improve this. It does look like M&Ms. It looks like someone stuck M&Ms on my tree, on the tree. I think that making the RGB values pulse or change slowly would be an easy add. We could definitely make them flicker, that's for sure. Why not make the ornaments flicker with random color? We could definitely, but like, I think we should have lights too. And I think the lights should flicker, not the ornaments. Ornaments don't flicker. What kind of ornaments are you guys putting on your trees? Yeah. I do kind of like your idea about being able to string lights together. I think that would be cool, right? I'm not sure how I would implement that. Okay, so we've got handle ornament click. What else can we do? We could... Okay, so let's try the lights thing. So let's have a toggle here. So we'll say const adding, or let's say const mode equals ref, and this is going to be ornaments or lights. And then we want a button to be able to toggle that. So let's do another control group here under the slider. See V mode, yep, ornaments, lights, that's fine. Although I don't think I want to select, I think I want like actual buttons. I don't know, we can leave it like that. And then we're gonna need another ref for our lights. Then we'll jump down here and we'll say a light is going to be a similar shape. Yes. But I also want to have, what is it, animation? Looks good. And then the only thing we need to do differently is now when we click, we have to figure out what the current mode is. So we say, we always need the rec, but we have to say if mode value equals lights, then we just return. Otherwise, we do this. Okay, so let's see. All right, so we're in ornament mode. Let's make our tree a little bigger. And we're in ornament mode. Let's add some ornaments. Great, we're doing wonderful. Merry Christmas to us. Now let's put some lights on this tree. Oh, we have to render the lights. Whoopsies. We have to render them. So, that's the same thing here. Although this shouldn't be... This should be -10 now. Or this should be subtract 10. So then we'll go here. Hey, looky there! Let's go! Welcome to Christmas on the Coffee Code and Chat stream. some lights. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. It looks awesome. Laugh my ass off. I absolutely love it. I do too. I do too. It's really silly, but it's like perfectly. It was like the perfect project to pick for today's stream. The perfect one. What the V4 and the key do? I've never seen those. So V4 is how you loop in Vue. So you know how in React you would just like do like map. You know, you'd map over an array. In Vue, you loop over an array with the key with the v4 uh, attribute or directive, I think is what it's called. And then the key is very similar to in React, how you're supposed to always provide a unique key for each thing that you render from an array. That's supposed to help with like the re-rendering of the component and the diffing algorithm that's used by the framework. Vue has the same idea. So like you probably like just like they say in React, it's probably not ideal practice to use the index. You should probably be using something like an ID or something like that to actually have a unique key. But that's the idea. It's very similar to if you've ever used React, is the same idea there. It's Christmas magic. It is Christmas magic. Doesn't it make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? Let's just bask in the ambiance of our Christmas tree that we made today. Hey, I love lamp. Nice, you're with your family? Good, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, both my grandmas are passed away now, so no more trips to grandma's house for me, but drink it up while you can, man. They're folks that are a generation or two removed from you are a wealth of knowledge and experience. So while you're there, sit down and have a conversation with her. Kevin, thanks for subbing, man. I appreciate you. It's very kind of you. Corel, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas. Okay, got it. Yeah, I've used React. Know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly the inner workings of why the key is so important to be set, but from what I remember when I was learning React, the somehow the key protects you against when the component re-renders. It helps you avoid things being rendered incorrectly or in the wrong order. It helps the diffing algorithm check or track that particular element over renders. Best Christmas tree on the planet? Yeah, it's a pretty good one, huh? It's pretty good. I like it. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, when I sat down to do this morning, I was like, I've never done this before. I think this might end horribly, but with a little bit of Copilot magic, I think we were able to make it happen. This is fun. I don't know if I'm super happy with like the tree itself, but like I think I could make the tree look more like a tree, but for what we were doing today, I think that's plenty fine. You know, there are actually programmable Christmas tree lights, which is pretty cool. You can make some custom code and have it do pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so that there's a new favorite YouTube creator, or not YouTube, one of my new favorite TikTok creators is this girl named Terabyte.tech, and she posted a video
My brothers
yesterday
and I built a programmable
where I guess her and her brothers did this. So that's what this is. It's a programmable Christmas tree. And they built a web app where you can like click a button and it changes the lights. I think that would be a really fun project to do 1 year. I wonder how difficult it is. I wonder how expensive they are. Programmable Christmas tree lights cost. Let's see. Groove Christmas sparkle string lights. Yeah, but I want to program them with my own code. How do I do that? I want to write JavaScript to program my Christmas lights. Like write JavaScript to control Christmas lights. That'd be a fun project. Interesting, interesting. Doesn't look like there's any kind of out of the box solution. It looks like people are just hacking stuff together. Christmas JS. I love that. Christmas JS. Add snow and Christmas lights to your webpage. Oh, this is kind of cool. Let's see. What's the code look like for this? This is how you add snow to it. So this guy basically built like a reusable implementation. So if you want to add snow to your web page, you can. Oh, he also did it with light strings. I should have figured something like this already existed. Somebody had to have had this idea before I did. Yeah, I'm not sure. How would I add snow? Like, I'd have to have like random random crosses that are moving up and down or animating down the page. That'd be a cool one to do. All right, so this is, I think, pretty good for today, though, because I'm really surprised my kids aren't up yet. So we're gonna do, let's see, git. We already have a git ignore, right? Git status. So we'll do new item, and let's do readme. This is a Christmas tree generator. We built this during the 2025 Christmas stream. I think this should be changed. We also need a favicon, don't we? Christmas tree generator. Let's get a favicon. Matt from Stand Up Maths also has some videos on programmable LED tree lights as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would love to do a project like that. Maybe next year if we can time it correctly. I don't know. It's hard to compete with Advent of Code, right? Because Advent of Code sits in December. So if you want to do other projects during Advent of Code, that makes doing Advent of Code pretty difficult, honestly. So it's almost like you have to pick what you're gonna do. I love lamp. Look above. Sorry, did I miss something? With my cousins? Nice. Yeah, I think I saw your message. You're at your grandma's house with your cousins. Wonderful, man. I think that's awesome. Be with your family. You can always turn the tree into a PNG. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we could add to this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the favicon here. And then I'm going to come back here and say link. Link rel equals icon. Right? That's how you do a favicon, right? Favicon link. Okay, and then let's try to dev again. And there's our little Christmas tree icon. Nice. I'm just gonna put lights on this one. Oh, you know what though? I didn't make it so we could remove the lights. Hold on. I need to make it so we can remove the lights. Function handle light click out. Although you're not really supposed to have a click handler on a div element, are you? It's not really best practice. There we go. I also think our blink is too slow. Does anybody else feel like our blink is our blink is too fast? I feel like our blink should be slower. Yeah, should be more like that, right? That's much more a vibe. Balaji, thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. Oh, and we should also have a button. We should have a clear, like a clear all button, right? If you want to reset the straight of your tree. So let's do function handle clear all click. And then let's add a button below. We'll do button. Oh my goodness, why does it do that sometimes? So then we'll do ornaments, put a bunch of ornaments on, put a bunch of lights on. Fantastic. That looks horribly ugly. The alignment there is all off. All right, I am happy with that. And given, let's see. Sorry, I fell behind in chat. You might want to put a 500 WS2811s and a Pi 0 on next year's shopping list. Man, you already know the parts list for this. Sean Dev, this stream is making me want to start coding again. Been a long time. Dude, do it. Start coding again. Don't forget to make a colored lights mode. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Try PM. It's more faster and lighter. I like NPM. I just, you know, I'm basic. I'm a basic bitch. I just stick with NPM. It's Christmas. Put all the event handlers on all the elements you want. Gift yourself that privilege. It's Christmas. Divs can have click handlers. Why not customize colors and lights? Yeah, you could do that too, for sure. You could do that. Dude, I just realized I cannot code from scratch. Can you do it? Yeah, for sure I can code from scratch. There's lots of things I probably have to look up though, but yeah, I can code from scratch. Yeah. What do you mean you can't code from scratch? Like, you mean you need AI, and without AI you can't code? Or what are you saying? We're gonna right quit all. Are there really 159 people here? There's no way there's that many people here. See, git init, git add, git secure initial commit. So create, nope, push an existing, a Christmas tree generator we built during the Christmas stream in 2025. Let's see, settings, get rid of that. Cool. Dude, let's see, yep, like I've gotten so lazy and dependent on AI, I need to go back. Yeah, I mean, I spent most of this month and last month not using Copilot at all because in November I was learning Go, and then in December we were doing Advent of Code with Go, so I really didn't use any Copilot, and it's definitely an eye-opening experience when you turn off Copilot and you realize that you've developed this really disgusting habit of just pausing and waiting for Copilot to finish your thoughts. That's not a great feeling. I think it's not a great feeling. So I kind of take like a detox from Copilot every so often. It doesn't mean I take a detox from using AI to help me code. It just means I don't necessarily have Copilot type the code for me. Um, yeah, because I don't like that experience of like you start typing a for loop and then you don't even realize it's like subconsciously it's like you're just stuck and you're waiting for Copilot, and when you turn it off, it obviously doesn't complete, and then you find yourself like, why am I pausing? Matthias, thank you for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. The Coding Chef, that's a great username. Great username. Thank you for subbing, man. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, it's 7 a.m. and it's Christmas, so I think I'm gonna hop off stream and I'm gonna go track down where my kiddos are and wake their asses up so we can bask in the glory of the Christmas presents. So I really appreciate you guys spending Christmas morning with me. This is very kind of you all. I hope you all have, if you're celebrating Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If not, that's no big deal. I hope you have a wonderful day as well, regardless. Yeah, this was a great stream. It was a good palate cleanser. Just something different, off topic, fun, visual, interesting. Yeah, I think it was a good time. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If you're new here and you'd like to come back and visit us again here live, my schedule is typically every morning from 4:15 a.m. Central Standard Time to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I know that's kind of tough for those of you that are in US time zones or maybe a time zone plus or minus an hour from there. I know it's very early and difficult to make it, so I totally understand if you can't. But if you see me live and you want to stop in and say hi, that'd be great. Um, as far as talking with us or chatting with us outside of stream, the best place to find me and chat is in our Discord. There's obviously no pressure to join. If you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. If not, no worries. You can just hang out here with us on YouTube. And with that, I hope that I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And if I don't see you tomorrow morning, I hope you see you in the comments of a short or a video. And this is where I think I'll leave you, chat. Duck and boy. See ya, everyone. Have a good Merry Christmas. You too, man. Have a great Christmas. Crow of Demise, Merry Christmas. Have a good day. Azure, have a good day. Sean Dev, kill it. Have a good day, man. Would love for you to make the same project. Yeah, make it better. Make it better than what I did. Crow of Demise, have a good day, man. Oblivious, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you as always. Be New You, if you're still here, good to see you. Bob Knoll, if you're still here, thank you, Bob, for coming and hanging out with me on Christmas morning. Gamer Minecraft. Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for being here. I think I caught everybody that was in chat recently. All right, guys. Merry Christmas, y'all. Appreciate you, chat. You guys have a great day. Bye. Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good day.